Let's do what we do. Power win on 2. 1, 2. Empty the clip.
Cousins in the pocket, in traffic, and intercepted. It's Robert Blanton. Cousins to beat. Blanton. Still working his way downfield. Finally, will be ridden down.
If you look at RJ compared to some of the other corners in the country, you know, his measurables, his size, his speed, all those things aren't going to match up. But, you know, the way that he studies, just his savviness, he's just a good football player. So I'll take that any day over the athleticism.
Yeah, we felt very strongly about Robert Blanton coming into the season that you know, he would give us great play, and I think he's exceeded everybody's expectations at this point. He's been a consistent performer for us, and he can do a lot of things for you. You know, he can play safety, he can play corner, he can play nickel. As you know, last year he was a great special teams player. We've had to kind of pull him back a little bit on special teams, but you know, we believe you know, he's a very important part to what we do defensively.
I look back to last year, and I had the opportunity to talk to RJ on a few occasions. You just see he's gotten that swagger back. When he was a freshman, he came in as a freshman and didn't know any better, so all he did was come out and make plays and play at a high level, and he seemed to get away from that, you know, sophomore, junior year, but now he's back to that swagger, that confidence that I can shut down any receiver that I go up against. And, you know, to this point this year, he's been a pretty dominant player in the secondary, and you have to have that in college football today. You need to have at least one shutdown corner that can come in and you know, you can move him around and put him on their best receiver and feel confident that he's going to be able to defend that player. And he's done that week in and week out, and I expect him to continue to do it because as he gets better, that confidence will improve. And you'll start seeing him make a few more plays in terms of the interception that he had. I anticipate a few more of those interceptions because that confidence breeds a desire to go out and make plays.
Confidence, self-belief, intensity, focus, diligence. Intangibly, you know, he's a big, long player.
Comes from a great high school program in Butler. You know, they were champions, and he's just got a swagger and a confidence about him that he carries with him, not only on the field but off the field as well. And I think that's very important when you play back there, that you have that kind of personality. He's a very confident young man in everything that he does.
Robert's personality is, he's the battery. He's very animated. He's also very bright and intelligent. He's, you know, you better be armed if you're going to have a debate with him on really a myriad of different topics.
The kind of play that he has shown, a lot of people say, wow, you know, Robert Blanton has surprised. We felt like he was capable of that. So it was just a reminder that you know, from my perspective, that he's capable of being a big play guy for us on defense.
Gray by himself. Cousins, ball's loose. Looked like Notre Dame has it. Aaron Lynch, the freshman, made the hit on Kirk Cousins.
Aaron Lynch, if he keeps his head on straight and works hard on technique, stays in shape, he's got a chance to be a star.
All you got to do is go back to the blue gold game. You know, our offensive line is pretty decent. You know, the guys coming back, and he literally whooped every last one of them. I mean, he went down the line and whooped every one of our offensive linemen. This kid is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and to be that young And I was talking to Philip Daniels, who's played. His son is playing here. His hand speed, and he was talking about the defensive lineman getting off and disengaging from a block. This kid has tremendous hands and tremendous power, and to combine those two together, that is a scary thing at this young age.
He's an extremely genetically gifted young man. I mean, and he's got a desire to want to get to the quarterback. I mean, genetics are one thing, and I think we all know that he's extremely gifted, but he's relentless when it comes to rushing the quarterback. He has that. Some guys just have that relentless spirit to get to the quarterback, and he brings both of those. He's a pretty good-looking kid. I mean, we had, I think we had about 11 scouts in, and they said that he physically looks like an NFL player right now.
Well, he's only 274 pounds, so getting in there and mixing it up and two-gapping at times, he's overwhelmed at times. But he made huge strides in this past game with that, and showing his ability to two-gap a tackle, a bigger tackle than him, and get off and make a play. And then obviously his pass rush is something that's a strength already because of his speed and quickness and athleticism. So consistency is one thing, and he was way behind on technique. He caught up some this past weekend. He gets better with playing more with his technique and then building confidence. Buying into what we're coaching hasn't been easy because it hasn't worked for him in practice because he's not doing it right. So he's back and forth on using the proper technique and not using it. And then in the game he used it and it worked out well, and he built confidence on it. And today his focus was stellar with trying to do it now the way we ask him to do it 100% of the time.
Atkinson deepest for the Irish. George Atkinson. Seam to the outside. Got away from the kicker. Here's Atkinson racing down the sideline, and the freshman will return it all the way for the touchdown.
Well, we had run the return on the opening kickoff, and I actually didn't push my guy out of the chute enough. So when I came back to the sidelines, the coaches told me, get him out of there. So on the second one, I'm like, all right, I gotta move this dude. So when I saw him, he wasn't paying attention. I caught him off guard and laid him out into the other guy. Worked out well.
That opened up that return. I mean, but that's the thing about a return. It takes all 11 guys doing their job to have success. And I just remember, we always had one or two guys that, like a Chris Salvi, that's going to come in and make a play on the block.
Right, but it wasn't just me. Everyone else got their block. That's why I was free. And then George made a nice move on the kicker, and then you saw his speed, so he took off.
Couldn't be prouder or happier for a young man that comes here as a walk-on. Obviously, we have a great tradition of walk-ons at Notre Dame, and the kid competes as hard as he can. You talk about getting the most out of your God-given ability. He'll do anything for the football team.
Well, we had noticed him for the last couple of years, and he just, I'll give you an example. We're running kickoff cover drill in camp, and he concussed himself on that. We weren't even in a live situation. I mean, here's a guy who's just, chomping at the bit to get out there, and he's just going so hard, he knocked himself out. And he carries that with him. He loves to play. His energy is high.
I take pride in working hard. I get that from my family. It's something my mother and father have, put into all 5 of us boys, and I like to think that that's what I do, and it shows.
Biggest thing year-round football, the first thing about being a football player is being tough. Now he may not have the size of some of the other safeties or DBs in our program, and he certainly doesn't have the speed of some of those guys, but he's as tough as anybody in our football program. So it's a tough man's game. It's not a sport where it's just the best athletes are always the best players, and particularly on special teams, most of being on special teams is being smart and being tough, and he works hard at the being smart part, and the toughness comes pretty naturally, and he's always ready to go. So, and he's always improving, and there's a lot of contact on special teams, and he certainly doesn't shy away from it.
Yeah, hard work, it's what it's about, and doing the detailed things. Like, Coach Kelly talks about those things. When you do the small things and other people don't, that's when you win.
You're at Notre Dame, and I read where you have dyslexia. How is that where some of your work ethic comes from? Because you not only got the grades to get in here in high school and at Butler, but now you're getting it done both on the field, in this classroom for football, and in that classroom. Is that the focus? Is that where you get some of your focus from?
Yeah, since I was a young kid, I'd struggled in school, and it frustrated me. But my mom, especially, because she's the one who taught me how to read. So, through lots of work is how I learned to get things done. So it's the only thing I know. And I think it's a blessing, dyslexia, because I think differently, and it's taught me hard work.
What's the best thing about being a Notre Dame football player?
I'd have to say Notre Dame Stadium. Coming out there is just so exciting. Doesn't get old, that's for sure.
Salvi is kind of the guy that everybody looks to when it comes to that walk-on that really exhibits that kind of determination that walk-ons would have. He's a pretty special player in our program. Looking at Pittsburgh, obviously the first guy that stands out is Ray Graham. Outstanding running back, multi-dimensional in that he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. He can line up as a wide receiver.
His physical, tangible traits are he's got contact balance and initial quickness. He's got long speed. He can move both laterally and short space quickly, and also get vertical and accelerate. And he's got good long speed. He's a rugged runner. He's a tackle breaker. So he's a real challenge.
The quarterback, Tito Sinceri, is somebody that has great escapability. He's throwing at a much higher percentage. You can see each game that he's played in this offense, he's gotten more and more confident in what he's doing. Probably had his best game of the year against Iowa. The quarterback, the wide receiver, Devin Street, the wide receiver, has been outstanding for him this year. He's really come into his own. Last year they had Baldwin as their go-to guy. Now Street is their go-to guy offensively. Defensively, they're multiple in 3-down and 4-down. Defensive end, Lindsey's a guy who can come off the edge.
Very long guy, does a great job with leverage with his hands, and does a darn good job turning the corner. I mean, you watch him against film, against Iowa, he does a good job of running through and getting his hips through and trying to turn that corner to get to the quarterback. Long guy, can extend, get the offensive lineman to disengage and really put pressure on the quarterback. And this is a guy I would say we need to chip him. I mean, get a back on him, because defensive linemen hate this, especially when those big-time pass rushers coming off the edge, some little running back coming up and giving him a shot in the gut. It'll slow that pass rush down. So I would like to see us chip him a little bit and slow him down a little bit.
They play every coverage imaginable in the back end. You'll see everything from 2 deep, 3 deep. You'll see cover 0, cover 1. You'll see it all in the back end. I think this is a clinic tape for the variety of coverages. So we've got to really keep it simple for Tom, so he doesn't have to get in there reading a million different coverages.
Well, offensively, I think that you got to start with our ability to run the football. Can we we had a success against Michigan, run the football. That's going to be key to keep that balance, so Tommy Rees is not forced into throwing the ball 50, 60 times. Secondly, stop the turnovers. And you do that, you're going to win games, as we saw. We cut our turnovers in half, and we won a football game and won it convincingly. And defensively, stop the run. If we stop Ray Graham, we really put this offense at a disadvantage for Pitt, and it really plays into our strength, because our strength is not so much coverage as it is rushing the passer.